29 years
Wow.
this year.
I was about
Praise
to ask you
God.
how long y'all been married.
It'll be 29 years this year, but it was a vow renewal in 2015 that made us feel
Come
like
on.
our marriage just began.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Wow.
That's so good.
That's
It was
something.
Yeah.
It was a new thing.
Yeah.
It was a new thing,
Yeah.
and I saw her in a different light.
Wow.
Because all the years before that, we were just moving through. We were just moving.
That's
we were just
it.
Yeah.
going
Those
through the
roommates.
motions. We were going through the motions. The kids were there, and after
Yeah.
the kids left, then we need to get back to one another. And that vow renewal helped us get back to one another. But
That's
like she
good.
said, God was in front.
Yeah.
Blessings once again, and I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me here with another episode of Chillin with the Bishop. I am your host, Bishop Rodney Thompson, and today we are excited and yet blessed because we're going to talk about something that I believe is going to be a real importance to all married couples. We're going to just discuss some things, but I want to introduce my guest. I have my beautiful wife here, the senior pastor of the Tell the Truth Ministries, Pastor Cynthia Thompson. Bless you so much, baby.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, can I get a kiss on the cheek? Hey, Billy, look, we had with us. Now look, so now I'll be laughing. We had with us, and I just realized this, that it's been 5 years since you all have been over the marriage ministry of the Tell the Truth Ministries and doing an outstanding job. And I believe the married couples are truly blessed, and the relationships has been enhanced from you all taking over of the marriage ministry and doing what you're doing. We have Elder Michael Simmons and his lovely wife, Sister Ivy Simmons. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. I am truly honored to have the three of you all here, and I'm excited for what we're going to discuss today.
Yes.
We're going to talk about mastering your marriage. Amen. I think we need to learn to master our marriage.
Yes.
I think if we can understand the importance, or let me say the important dynamics of marriage and how it works and how we're to work it, we can have such great, happier marriages. Because I realize, Sister Ivy, Elder Mike, a lot of folk just coexist.
They do.
Yes.
A lot of folk just coexist. And I remember telling her years ago, I said, we are not just going to be roommates.
Right.
We are not just going to be roommates. Because a lot of marriages are just roommates. They see each other in their going and comings. They talk about, I guess, the important things that they feel is important. But when it comes to one another, there's no relationship.
Right.
Outside the kids, there's no relationship. And just going and passing one another in the time and in the expanse of life. But I want to ask a question here. Well, first of all, let me let you all respond to that. You too, Beth. We said, I made the statement that a lot of folk are just, going and coming, and they're not the relation. They're just roommates. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I think that we lose our commonality. We lose the things that we have in common.
Right.
All of a sudden, our main conversation is the kids. And what we're going to do with the kids and how the kids acting. But we forget to talk to one another.
Right.
And we lose our identity with one another.
Wow.
And because I remember after the kids grew up, I was like, man, I don't even know if I really like him anymore. So I had to kind of readjust now that the kids had moved out of the house and was moving out of the house, and I had to kind of say, wait a minute.
Because the relationship changed.
It does change.
Because when we first got married, the relationship was, for the first maybe year,
right.
It was kind of around us, but RJ came along, and then the relationship became, children oriented, and everything was dealing with the kids. But then after that, it was us again.
Yeah.
What do you all have to?
Had to find each other.
You do, because like you said, you have to find that common ground. You
Yes.
have to find out what made you fall in love with
Right,
the person
right,
in the first
right,
place.
right.
If I know everybody doesn't have the time, but try to get in those date nights. I don't care
Yeah.
if you just go for a drive,
No
have
question.
some ice
So,
cream.
now, let me stop you for 1 minute on that, because I want to jump into that, because let me tell you something. We find time to do whatever we want to do
What we
in
wanna
life.
do.
So for you to say, they need to make the time.
Yes, yes.
We make time to. I mean, we got a busy schedule,
Yeah.
but we always have to make time to spend time with one another, and even if it's just an hour of just breakdown
Yes.
and getting away. And a lot of time we don't always just do the date night, but we'll do the lunchtime.
Right.
Yes, and that,
You have to
And
find
that really
time.
works for
have
us.
to
have to
find
find
the time, regardless of what time of
Yes.
day is it. Just find the
Yes.
time, because you don't want to get down to your marriage 25, 30 years later and like,
Right.
who are you?
Right.
I don't know anything about
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
I know the kids. I know how this household is ran. I
Right.
know your job, but
Right.
you, I need to
Right.
know
Right.
who
Right.
you are and what's going on
Right.
with you.
That's
Because
so
I mean,
true.
even with you saying that, you know, you can go to restaurants and you can see older
gosh,
couples, and they're
yes.
just sitting there and they're eating,
yes.
but there's no conversation
Nice.
because they have lost connection.
Yes.
You know, and
yes.
that's
Yeah.
just so important that we have to always work on our connection emotionally, physically, whatever. We have to work on that connection, because that connection can be severed, you know, where that continuity is not there because you're not really plugged into each other anymore.
Wow.
You know?
And that's for me, that's an important part. That connection
Yes,
and that
yes.
communication. 'Cause
Yes.
you've seen the older
Yes.
couples. I've seen younger couples.
Absolutely.
Literally, their whole meal.
They on the phone.
He's on his phone.
Yeah,
and she's
she
on
on her
phone.
phone.
I'm like,
No
y'all came to
conversation.
talk,
That is
no
so true, man.
conversation.
And
Right.
I can't get that.
I can't
Yes,
get it.
you-
But you know, it's that you get that two ships passing in
Right.
and out.
Right.
In your
Right.
home, it's two ships passing through
Right.
the night.
Right.
Because like you said, baby, you don't make that time. You don't make that
Right.
time, and it doesn't necessarily have to be. Look, you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money.
Exactly.
You don't have to spend a lot of money. The date night can be simple.
Yes.
It could be
Yes.
it could be just riding together,
Yes.
going for a ride and a
Yes,
talk.
yes.
so
Or
true.
sitting in your home,
Yes.
Yes.
just talking to one another.
Yes.
Really establishing the reconnection of a love, that love
Right.
that you had. You know, you can just do that, and in doing that, conversations will spark.
Yes.
Things will
Wow.
come up
Yes.
from what you want to do.
Yes.
And things will come up for what you did,
Come
and then you'll start to
on.
realize we're not where we used to be.
That's
Not
right.
at all.
That's
Right.
right.
This is now you have to, where are we going?
Yes.
Where are
yes.
we going?
Yes.
And when you realize, okay, hey, we have somewhere we want to go. Then you guys can one
Yes.
mind and one accord.
Yes.
One thing I've always learned is when we're not clicking on the same,
Yes.
we quickly see, okay, hey, it starts to get a little rough.
It
Yeah.
do.
It's get a little
What is the little
rocky.
chopping?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
chopping.
and I'll say, why are you talking to me like that? Because you ain't loving me like you supposed to, you know.
Right, right.
But that's just a shot, you know,
Right.
to that you keeping each other
Right.
honest in
Right.
your home
Absolutely.
and in your marriage.
Yeah. And even with conversation,
Yeah.
because sometimes, you know, even being married, you have to watch your conversations, because sometimes you can kind of click on, you know, talking about everything else and not talking about yourself.
Yeah.
Because one thing I learned, and I've been listening to Bishop Jake's new book, Disruptive Thinking, and he was talking about how couples evolve, and as we
Yeah.
grow older, we evolve and our needs change. So we
Yes.
got to always go back and say, hey, what do you need?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes we don't do that, and we just assume that
It's
everything
so
is
true,
still
man.
flowing, but I don't need that anymore.
Right.
You know, so I need something at a high level now,
Yes.
or I might not even need that in the equation.
Right.
So we have to always come back to each other and just say, hey, what do you need?
Right.
What do you need?
Right.
Because he was talking about like how they'll go on vacation, they're excited about where they're going, and they'll get there, and his wife, she wants his idea of a vacation is not the same as his wife's, where she may want to sleep in, but he wants to go see the sights, right? So what he said, and it tickled me.
Familiar?
It's so familiar because it tickled me because it just reminded me of us.
Right.
So he said what he does, because she's more like of an afternoon person, so he'll just let her, because her idea of a vacation is getting away from the hustle and bustle and sleeping in. Her idea is sleeping in, but he won't go out he won't hit the streets, right? But like him. So he says what he does is normally he'll let her sleep in. He'll go out and pick out the sights and everything. And then when she wakes up in the afternoon, then she gladly wants to join him to look at the sights.
Wow.
Instead of just, we got to get up. So it's another hustle and bustle because we on vacation. So now we got to take advantage of the day. Maybe I just want to rest because I get up early every day. So now I'm on vacation. I want to decompress and unwind where he won't go out and see everything. So it's just good. What do you need?
And that's real good there. But let me ask you all a question. And I'm referring this to Elder Mike and Sister Ivy. And what do you all feel? And I know you're going to jump in on this, but I want them to dive in on it first. What do you all feel is the most important aspect of marriage? And I got an idea of what you're going to say, but then, let me say the two most aspects. Because I kind of got to feel what you might say as the first one, I want to come back with the second and see where you're gonna go with that. So what do you think? Go ahead, Sister Ivy.
The first one is God. No ifs, ands, buts about it.
Yes. Right.
The second one is making sure and working at staying in love.
Yeah.
Because you can love somebody, but if you're
not
not in love with them, that's a whole different
That's
a whole different ballgame.
Yes.
So for me, to making sure we stay in love, because I love you, babe, and I love you to in love with you.
Right.
But we weren't always there.
Right.
If we had to keep it honest, we weren't always in love. It took some time.
I understand that.
We had to fall back in love because we got caught up with careers, kids, and everything, and we fell by the side. We fell by the side. So
caught up in this thing called life.
Yes, exactly. And then when we got the house was quiet, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just us. We had to get back to that point.
I'm living with.
Roommate. It was almost a roommate situation.
Yes.
So for me, I say, and I'm still working on it, right? So respect, I have it. So I say respect. And the other one is communication.
Big time.
And that communication is, respect is great. Because when you respect the one that you're loving, the one that you're with in the house, when that respect is there, love is good, but respecting, and we heard that, we heard that, but honestly, love is great.
Yes.
But respect is good. Is great.
If
we respect that person that's in your home, a lot of things won't slide.
Right.
A lot of things won't go. But to couple that, communication.
Let me do this here, Mike. Let me slip in here on that, because I want us to expound a little bit on that respect thing, and then we'll come back to the community, because my next question was going to be, how important do you all feel communication is in one's marriage? But let's hit this respect thing for a minute, because I'm a firm believer that if we respect ourselves, we'll thoroughly respect our spouse. And if we respect our spouse, we won't do something that so many people neglect, and just talk to them in a kind of way.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So what you think about that, Bear?
I think that's true. Because I remember, when we first started out in marriage, and it's like, okay, come on, They say, hold on, I mean, you got to kind of establish that from the beginning,
right?
And you got to set those ground rules from the beginning. What I'm going to accept and what I'm not going to accept, and it's just keeping that level of respect that. I mean, the kind of respect that I want, I should be willing to give it.
Right.
Because, see, you only going to reap what you sow.
Yeah.
And if I'm treating him nasty and mean and I'm ornery and I'm always cantankerous, guess what I'm going to get back? The same thing. It reciprocates. So
that's true, because this is something I had to realize. I had to realize this here in life. Now, I don't talk to my kids any kind of way. I don't treat them any kind of way. But coming up, I realized, with the kids coming up, I realized I couldn't talk to her like I talk to my children.
Not at all.
No.
Yeah.
I remember one time she told me, hold up, I'm not your mama.
Right.
I'm not this, I'm not that. Right. I'm not your child.
Right.
And I had to realize, hold up, I can't expect her to be those. And I got to learn how to talk with her because she's not those.
Right.
So that really checked me and really put things in perspective for me, as far as dealing with how I dealt with the kids. Because when I say let's move, I'm ready to move. I ain't got time to be sitting there no 10, 15 minutes. You already know what time we're going to get moving. So why am I still waiting?
But even in all that, not really considering, hey, I done fed the kids. I done got the kids dressed. I done packed the baby bag. I'm running out the door, with one leg in my pantyhose and one shoe on. So it's a lot of things. It's a lot of components that go into those 2 hours of getting ready, making sure his clothes is laid out and ready to go, and all he doing is taking a shower, jumping in, let's go. Hold up.
This is the thing. This is the thing. Then we gonna move. I'm gonna let you all jump in this. But here's the thing. This is what I realized over the time. That I wasn't helping out with those things.
No.
I wasn't dealing with the
sleeping to the last minute.
Bishop, that's where a lot I get on my brothers for a little bit. That's where a lot of men, fall by the wayside.
Right.
Right.
We God said, I will give you a helpmeet.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But that wasn't the whole meat, right?
Right.
You got it all.
Right.
We're just gonna be here and you got it.
She's supposed to be helping me to do those things, but I'm allowing her to do all of it.
Right.
Laid back.
We have to help, man.
That's right.
We have to help.
That's right.
To make things go a little bit smoother if we help in the time that it takes to get out the house will shrink. If we do not just say, I'm the king, move.
Right.
Yeah, that's so true, man.
Wrong counsel.
Wrong counsel. Yes, but forgetting that I already got my own ride, right? So I mean, if you're in a rush, go ahead on. Right. I'll meet you once I get ready.
Wow. That's up there. But let's dive into this. What Mike was saying. Communication. Because I want to know from you all, and I already got an idea from you. But how vital and important is communication in a marriage?
Oh my goodness.
Communication can make or break a marriage.
It can.
Yes. Okay.
It can make or break a marriage. And I say that because when you are not open with your spouse,
right?
And we have our dealings with
we have too.
We've had
we've gotten
hold up. Let me
do this here. Because see, that's why I love these episodes. Yeah. Because one thing can take you to another thing and take you but here's and the reason why I wanted to stop you, because you said something so important. Because see, here's the thing. Most times we think communication is just talking with one another.
No, it's body language.
It's everything.
It's everything.
But you were saying something there. Finish what you were saying. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no. So we've had some conversations. We've had some emotions.
Right.
We've had that where I didn't give her what I was supposed to give her.
Right.
In that communicating, where I wasn't as open to her as I should have been. And I wasn't open to her as she thought I should have been to her. And I'm thinking that I'm giving you what I got. And she was like, no, you're not. Because if you give me what I think I should have, I wouldn't be wondering what's going on.
That's it.
And that thing, our thing was, I don't want to be the last person to know something.
Come on.
Yeah.
So if I'm talking to someone and they come to her and say, hey, did Elder or did Michael? And she's like, no.
Yes.
And then she comes to me, she's like, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, I thought I did. But I didn't. What does that do? It makes her feel like she's second to the person that I talk to.
That's right.
And I should never make my queen feel that way.
That is so true.
And that's what I'm learning. I'm still, like I said, you said mastering your marriage.
Yes.
If I said I mastered my marriage.
Oh my God, we all in trouble.
Yes.
You're wrong.
So mastering my marriage, that's me growing every day. And she reminds me, and I remind her of where we might be either falling short or maybe like doing too much that is distracting us from being closer in our marriage. Because you can get distracted to a point where your marriage falls back.
Trust me, been there.
Communication.
Especially when you are leaders in a church.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because everything else becomes your focus. But it goes back to that book that we worked on, his needs, her needs, and about that withdrawal. That withdrawal. That's, I mean, when that communication is not on point, that to me, that's a withdrawal out my band. Because if I got to hear it from the person
or from another
source, when you should have told me, that is a major withdrawal.
And, that was one of my biggest. That was a big thing with me, because I used to thought I told you that you ain't listening. You don't remember.
You didn't tell me. I know you didn't tell me.
You ain't tell me.
Yes.
Then I had to really start thinking. What?
You didn't.
And to me, that's very important because I don't like leftovers.
Come on now.
And I don't like being second. That's why I'm competitive when we play games. I don't like being second.
Right. That's why I don't play games.
Exactly. So when it's time for me to know something,
I want to know.
I want to know. And I 100% understand because of his position, he can't share everything. And I respect that absolutely. But if it's something that I need to know, if that tree told you a minute ago, that second minute I need to know.
Especially when it's affecting our house, or it's affecting the children, or it's affecting our finances, or it's affecting something that has to do with me. Because I had to learn, with him being in the pastorate before I was even in the pastorate, that there's going to be some things that he's going to talk to parishioners about, and there's going to be sometimes where because he's just so kind, and he will give you the shirt off his back. Thank God I'm his brakes. Hallelujah. But he would give. But when we first got married, he was just that kind, where he would give everything and not have anything. But now that I'm in the picture, I had to slow him down some. But being that he's in a pastorate, sometimes they'll come and say, "Well, Bishop, blah 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 blah. Oh, let me help you," or something like that. But then he would forget that. He didn't tell me that this happened. Oh yeah, I loaned so and so. Oh, you did.
There was no loan.
But it wasn't a loan because you gave it. Because guess what? Never got it back. Even to this day,
it was a blessing.
Never got it back. It was a blessing. Hallelujah. We learned that if you are going to lend money, you better make sure that you're able to bless somebody with it, because you ain't getting it back.
You not at all.
But as far as the communication part, we had to learn, and that communication piece is really part of that respect piece to me. Because I think that you being disrespectful, or I think you being deceitful if you're not conveying that message back to me, or it's like 2 weeks or a month down the road, and then all of a sudden you want to reveal. You want to reveal it. No, I want to know it right straight in there.
Because when you reveal it later on, I'm looking at you sideways, and you want to know what's wrong with her.
Right. And it's not egregious.
It's
not egregious.
Right.
But I didn't tell her. But I accept that role as a villain.
Right.
Because of me trying to make it right, I'd just rather just say, okay, my fault.
I forgot.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and I'll try to do better.
Yeah.
And that thing is, the word is try.
Yeah.
Try.
And then, but in that trying, I put that effort to do better.
Yes.
Do some communication stuff in the crack?
Yes.
But not to the point where, okay, if we do that one more time, we're going to talk to somebody.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another important part. And that's another important piece where you said we're going to talk to somebody. That a lot of times married couples feel like that they can't go to counseling.
No, you need counseling.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need counseling because sometimes you just can't get over that hump. And some people, they think that, you know, because I might be in a church or I might attend a marriage class or something at church, I'm okay. But sometimes you get in certain situations that you may need professional help.
And that's okay.
It's okay.
Keep having the same conversation, and you can never get it resolved.
Can't get to a common ground.
And if it wasn't for counseling, we wouldn't be sitting here.
Come on now.
Wow. Exactly.
We would not be sitting 100.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Counseling was one of the best
I
things
hear it.
that happened to us.
Yes.
They showed us how to communicate,
Yes.
how to talk to each
Yes.
other, how to love,
Yes.
how to keep everything else out of your marriage.
Come on
except
now.
the two.
Right.
Yes.
So
And that's so right. That's
We've been married
so right.
we'll be 29 years
Wow.
this year.
I was about
Praise
to ask you
God.
how long y'all been married.
It'll be 29 years this year, but it was a vow renewal in 2015 that made us feel like our marriage just began.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Wow.
That's so good.
That was something.
Yeah.
It was a new thing.
Yeah.
It was a new thing,
Yeah.
and I saw her in a different light.
Wow.
Because all the years before that, we were just moving through. We were just moving.
That's
we were just
it.
going
Those
through the
roommates.
motions. We were going through the motions. The kids were there, and after the kids left, then we need to get back to one another. And that vow renewal helped us get back to one another. But
That's
like she
good.
said, God was in front.
Yes.
God was first.
Yes.
Amen.
God is first, then
Yes.
it becomes us.
Yes.
You know, so
Let me ask a question here because a couple of things you all put out there I'm listening to, but my mind is also, you know, wondering. And one of the questions I want to ask is how, and this is not, this is a how, this is give me a tool, if you can, to help me. How can I work in having the children and still loving and being taking care of my spouse?
Wow.
That's when you have to. It's almost not a life or death situation, but you have to make it work. There is no excuses. You have that time. If you have younger kids, or no matter how old the kids are, if you got to put those kids to bed early, if you got to get a babysitter, whatever you need to do, you have to make this work. Because if this doesn't work, your household doesn't work.
Right.
Nothing comes together if this is not together.
That's
like
right.
Wow,
it's,
I like that.
It's,
yeah.
I know people say, "Well, won't have time." Well, you do
You gotta
have
make
time.
time.
You just got to
You have to make time. If it's 5:30 in the morning, get up and start talking. You laid in the bed. You done been breathing that breath for 29 years. So, babe, what you think about so and so? What you think about just start somewhere, but do not, under no circumstances, allow something as far as excuses to come in the middle of this. That's just not an option.
Yeah.
That is good.
That
That's
is
good,
good.
because so many times what I've realized being in the position that I'm in, and this is the reason why I'm asking these questions, because I want to throw this stuff out there so folk can get an understanding of this stuff. And prayerfully, if you do, it'll help keep you out of some of the counseling sessions that you find yourself into. So that was a good, real good answer there, because I realized this in life. So many folk allow their careers, and you had mentioned that at first, and their children, you talked about, to be, and people also, but more so careers and their children to be a hindrance, or shall I say a stumbling block when it comes to the marriage. And that's the reason why I asked that question, because I wanted to give the folks some type of a tool to understand how to get around that. Because I really believe that if you would take the time, as Sister Ivy said, you have to make the time. You have to get a babysitter if you have to. You have to put the kids to bed. See, and one thing about us, when my kids was growing up, what was it, 9 o'clock, 8:30 they was in the bath. 7:30 they was in the bath. And 9 o'clock they was in bed. Right. They was asleep. And I think that if the couples today realize that if marriages today understand they have to have boundaries in life and in their marriage, it'll help keep things so much more, locked in and focused. Because, and when I say boundaries, I mean there's certain times we're gonna do this here. There's a time where this is gonna happen. After this, just being in rhythm.
It's a schedule.
And I think that really works good.
It does, because that shows you your time.
Yes.
As you're saying, because everybody has time to do everything.
Right.
But if your kid's up with you till 1 o'clock in the morning, that's not healthy.
Or if you at work until 9 o'clock at night,
that's not healthy.
That's not healthy.
Not at all.
And that's why I throw those two in, because those are two of the major components that will cause marriages to sink: the children and the career. Yeah. Because and I'm gonna let you jump on that, Mike, because we allow. No, let me let you jump on that before. I don't want you to lose that thought.
No, I was saying we were talking about the scheduling.
Yeah.
My word was prioritization.
Yes, make them a priority.
Yes, if you make your spouse,
your
husband or your wife,
that's
priority.
You're
making that priority, because we've seen and been a part of where the job has come first.
Yes.
To when that job has come first, that job, after the job was done, that person is gone to glory.
Yeah.
What happened to the job?
Yeah.
That company replaced that person
before
that seat got even
That's
cold.
That's right.
And you've left your spouse.
Yeah.
And your spouse in where? You left that spouse in limbo. You left that spouse wondering why. Because you're gone too soon, because you prioritized the job over your spouse.
Yes.
You prioritized the job over your family. I know the job pays the bills.
Right.
I know it. But how much of it are you giving versus your family?
Yeah.
And that's so true, because I remember when our kids were small, and Bishop worked 3 jobs. He would go to work in the morning to do his insurance. Then he would go to the Board of Education from 3 to 11. And then he would go to J&J Mellon. Until
from 12 until
whatever.
I mean from whatever time, 11 o'clock at night until around 7 in the morning, 6 or 7 in the morning.
So guess what? He wasn't home.
Yeah.
He was not home. So that made me the mama and the daddy, right? But I was like, hey, we're not coming any forward. We're really taking 2 steps back financially, physically, emotionally, because I'm tired. Because I got the kids all the time. He tired because he working all the time, and we still ain't making ends meet.
Well, that was on me, because I wasn't doing what I should have been doing anyway.
Right. We weren't being faithful.
Right.
We weren't being faithful to God. We weren't good stewards of their finances. But all of that was learning.
Right.
And now we've evolved, and we know how to be good managers of the time and good managers of the finances. But it came with a lot of work from us and coming together. So it's just having that component of being together, having that camaraderie. I told somebody a few days ago that we were friends. We were friends before anything else happened. So if God forbid, if anything would go amok or go south, we still gonna be friends.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so it's like building that friendship where we have knocked down, drag out sometime, not as frequently as it was back in the day.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes we still don't agree because I mean, we are two sides of the spectrum. But we've learned how to come together.
We don't have knockdown drag outs no more.
Not anymore.
We have disagreements, but we don't. But
they far from how they used to be.
That's a part of mastering.
It is. It's a part of mastering.
Being a good steward.
Yes.
That's a part of mastering. That communication. That's a part of mastering. That knowing that, okay, hey, we were friends before we got married.
Right.
We're going to be friends in this
That's
marriage.
it.
That's
we're going to be friends.
Because if you start off as a friend, now that we're married, I'll see you just as a wife. You're still my friend. Because in that, I need a friend to talk to.
Come on now.
She has got to be my friend that I can talk to.
Yes.
And if she's not that friend that I can talk to,
and don't do it.
Don't do it.
That's right.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. It's not worth it.
Wow, man, this is some powerful stuff here.
Yes.
I hope and pray that the folk that's hearing this here are gonna allow themselves to be enriched and cause their marriage to be enriched and their relationship to grow, because I think this is vital. I want to take it to another place here, and then we'll kind of wrap things up, and maybe we'll definitely come back and do this again sometime. But I noticed you all were saying, I think you had mentioned, excuse me, before we, went live and we were just talking a little bit, you were saying about the crab boil or seafood boil or something, the time of that. I think that those things are very, very important in relationships when you take the time to get out with other couples, like-minded couples, I'll say.
That helps.
I think that really helps enrich your relationship. What do you guys feel on that?
Sure.
I'm in agreement, because even if it's not like-minded couples and you just happen to see this other couple, they looking at your marriage like, I want that, and then it'll spark a conversation between them.
I'm glad you corrected me on that too.
How can we get that?
That's true.
And now with the like-minded couples, I like that as well. So me personally, marriage is my heart. I love. So to see any marriage struggle, it tugs on me. It tugs on me. So if there's anything that I can do in addition to pray, I'm going to. If I can give you some pointers, if I can sit down and talk to you, I will even share my testimony with you about our marriage if it will help you and your spouse further your marriage.
That's true.
Wow.
That's true.
It's a great thing to see other couples and to be with other couples. It's like the word says, iron sharpens irons. Great marriages sharpens other great marriages.
That's right.
And it'll bring those marriages up to where they would like to be by seeing those other marriages continue to prosper. But the one thing I would like to add to that, in your marriage, don't fake the funk outside the house.
Come on.
When you're out there, because you go out and you put on this facade and you come back behind doors and it's a dirty mess.
It is.
Your mess will spill over into the streets some way, shape, or form. And now you've deceived the people that once saw, man, that's a great marriage. That's what I want to be like. And now they're wondering what happened.
What in the world?
What happened? But if what's inside the house flows on the outside, it's good. It'll be good that everyone will see, and everybody will want a piece of it. And it's just like raising your kids.
That's right. That's right.
If you let your kids do anything in the house, how you expect them to do that same thing, do something different out in public?
No, they're gonna exemplify what they do at home.
What they do outside in the home.
That's
so
right.
the marriage, I feel the marriages are the same thing.
That's so true there, because that's one thing I've always been. I don't fake the funk. It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yes,
because why do that? Why do that? And it just doesn't make sense. Because he said, hey, if we not talking in the house, when we come out, why we act like we talking and we all
don't start acting like
don't start like you brand new now, So
we're not going nowhere like that.
we gotta talk. We gotta talk it out. We gotta duke it. We gotta put the dukes up. Well, we ain't physically fighting, but we have got to look at those tough issues. And I think that sometimes when you are with like-minded couples and when you are gathering together, sometimes when you see what somebody else and how their marriage is and how successful their marriage is, it opens your eyes to some of the blind spots.
It does.
Because you know how, like, if you're in your house and you become so used to a smell, you get nose blind to that smell, right? So, but if I come to your home, I may smell it because I haven't been there. So it's just like in a marriage. Sometimes we go through the routine, and so we just rolling 30, almost 34 years. We rolling. So now I come and I look at your marriage. I'm looking at how you guys are communicating and how y'all are loving each other and how you guys, your closeness. But then it brings to my attention, hey,
it makes you take evaluation.
We're not as close as we used to be. And it makes me to start to look at some of the things that I've become blind to because I'm just going through life. Just trying to make it through another day, Lord. Yes.
Man, I'm telling you, I have enjoyed this.
This is wonderful.
This is good. Love it. This is good. So I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and bring it in right here. We're going to allow God to just bless the folk that hear this with what they've heard. And then you all got to make me a promise, and you too, that you'll come back.
Done.
Yes,
absolutely. We'll come back and do this again because this is good. This is good. Well, look, once again, I thank you all so very much for joining us here. We're chilling with the Bishop. Thank you for just being a part of another episode. I want to thank our guests. Thank my lovely wife, Pastor Cynthia Thompson. Thank Elder Michael Simmons, his lovely wife, Sister Ivy Simmons. They've been the leaders of our marriage team for 5 years. Marriage Ministry Accord. Anointed vessels. Anointed couples. Combating obstacles and resisting divorce. Did you all hear that? Accord. Anointed couples combating obstacles and resisting divorce. And that's what we like. That's what we want. That's what we're about as part of God's kingdom and God's family. We want to avoid divorce at all costs if we can. And we want to just allow the couples to be able to combat the obstacles the enemy send their way and to be able to overcome. Look, thank you all once again for joining us and being a part of this broadcast. I thank you all once again for just being a part of another broadcast here of Chilling with the Bishop. Bless you. We look to see you at another time. Thank you.
Blessings.
Blessings.
God bless everybody.